Hey guys, I just wanted to make a little video recap for the LIghtBearers, September 16th in North Bay. I actually got to facilitate the talk on Loving Society, which is a project I created just before COVID, which was sort of my channeling of what a perfect society, heaven on earth, would look like, channeled right from heaven. I wanted to make a society with no rules, no laws, and as little base as possible, and I did just that. I'm super happy about it, and I'm super happy about seeing it implemented in the leaders' lives who are choosing to do so. So this video is just a little recap, a little snippet of that conversation. Anybody that knows how I like to do presentations at LIghtBearers knows that I give a ton of space for people to get involved and breakout conversations and this and that, and that's exactly what I did. It was interesting. I had like 5 people bail last second, like last 48 hours before before the meeting. And so I was like, probably should go back to marketing these because yeah, it's hard when you're really excited to share something with somebody and then something happens and they can't show up. Like, it's tough. But that's what this recap's for. And check out this awesome like river spot I found. Just doing some water walking in North Bay. Water's a little cold, but it's a beautiful day. It's warm. The sun's keeping me alive, keeping me well. And even when I'm not moving, my foot's been in the water for a while. So all is good there. So I started the conversation, and we had a new friend. I look forward for you being there, meeting our new friend, because he's awesome. Really funny guy. So I started talking about alternative living situations, and I opened the floor for people to talk about some of the places they've lived. And from that, people were describing culture, as when I recapped it, seemed very important. The culture of where you live, very important, you know. So you got to like the people you're with and kind of resonate with them a little bit. Location seemed to be important. Quality ownership seemed to be very important in the stories that people told. Um, Community, obviously. And then didn't even think about it, but gypsy life, traveling. Like, can you imagine you have an alternative society and you guys travel around like gypsies? That would be freaking awesome. So then I mentioned a few projects people might have heard of, like the Quakers or the Amish. These are alternative societies living parallel or in conjunction with the society that you're living in. And I think we have a lot to learn from these alternative societies because they're doing a lot of things really well. And I think the main one is like just understanding that sooner or later the big society is going to have some shakeups, and so it'll be nice to have some foundations elsewhere um, when things hit the fan a little bit. And ask anybody, a lot of people are concerned that sooner or later we're hitting the fan. If we look at history as an example, every civilization has fallen. Some of them have transformed, like Rome, but even still, all these kings are falling, all these tyrants are falling. So we got to be new kings. We got to step up and make our own kingdoms a little bit. Um, so I talked about Soulshine as well because really cool. They had every single person volunteer this year, and so you can really see how they might be paving the way for alternative living situations for them. And festivals in general are like alternative societies. Like, you go basically in a portal. I was at Gusapalooza this last weekend. It's like going into a portal. It's going to a distant land, parallel, somewhere unrelatable, unrecognizable almost. So it's really cool, and we got to keep working on these and developing these and fitting the pieces together. People that live off grid, even if they live by themselves, that's an alternative society in a sense, especially if they have other off gridders that they associate with. And so it's very interesting to think about all the potentials of people that aren't talking about their alternative societies because they don't want to share. So pretty cool stuff. Some friends shared some pretty cool things, including uh, the growth of alternative currencies. So that we can get back to. I mean, we didn't even talk about crypto, but that was an obvious one. But a lot of different platforms, including TikTok and Reddit, stuff like that, are kind of working on alternative currency systems a little bit. And these applications are just going to get further and further out there. Um, So don't be surprised, and don't be afraid to take a little bit of investment in broader spectrums where you can find your value. It was also shared, there's something called Unified TV with a gentleman named Jason Shirka, and apparently it's an entire TV network that is sharing itself alternatively outside of the mainstream. We've all heard of Gaia. Gaia is a little bit more retroactive, like it's more like, here's a video from 20 years ago, in my experience. But this Unified TV sounds like it's a little bit more contemporary news, so that's something you might be interested in. We talked about the influence of stars, too, and the energy shifts, and that was definitely a conversation on trend. But back to the loving society core part for now. Like, we look at the society we live in now, the main one, and what's like the underlying theme of the kings? It's greed. And so my vision is that the kings have grown smart enough, wise enough, sound enough, consciously and morally, that they don't need to be greedy anymore. Now, we need to be unconditionally loving to be kings. And so that was my foundation for what I believe any public figure, any group, any organization should have as their key point, is unconditional love as a foundation, as a rule of thumb, as a guideline. And then I paired that with cooperation and transparency. So I'm a little bit of a king in my own world. And so what do? I set up programs, projects, I contribute to programs, projects, groups that help people, that allow people to contribute cooperatively in any way we can find. And I share what I do transparently. For instance, my consulting business, which has been in the green for 7.5 years, like there's almost no expenses and it makes money all the time. I would share that exact model with everybody, because I think anybody can do it if they're brave enough, smart enough, hardworking enough. But I'll let you figure out those details. Either way, I'm there to help if you're interested in that business plan. It is yours. Because why are we still in the matrix? Let's continue to break out of the matrix. And how we do that is by contributing to alternative systems and alternative societies that'll have that, support when we need it, have that network when we need it. So I love this idea, and I love how I've used it. I love how I see more and more people using it. And, we're connected, collective conscious wise. We're all connected. So this idea, like, it's there in the ethers. I'm sure there's other societies that are using the same or very similar principles, very similar guidelines. For me, I broke it down to those three ideas because I didn't want laws or rules, and I didn't want to force anyone to conform. I wanted it to be like, if there's 100 people in the town and the 5 smartest, most capable can come together and 4 of them take these vows, they can pave the way for the rest of the people to live with basic things like an opportunity for shelter, food, water. Like, as soon as I have secured these assets and I can give them away, that's what makes me the king. And that's what I plan to do. I want to give you a piece of land. I want to give you water. I want to give you food. And I want to give you an opportunity to make culture and contribute in your own growth in your own way. I think that's a beautiful thing, and that's what we're doing. So one of the concepts here that I really like is an adaptation of bartering, just organized bartering in a sense. It's called micro gifts. And so all it does is allow you to track the middle point between any 2 exchanges. So for instance, I've had a fantastic client who you must check out, Janet Thorpe in Midland. She is a fantastic artist. She does commission pieces and sells what she does. She's done probably 100 animals by now, in graphite drawing and extreme detail, like photo quality detail. She's amazing. She did a dragon. She's done a unicorn. Both incredible. Anybody would be loving to get those as a gift. She also does treatments. And so I have used micro gifts with her for over 7 years now. And I've gotten plenty of massages, and she's gotten plenty of marketing. Plenty of, this, that, and whatever kind of solutions that I can offer through my consulting business. And that's an agreement that works for us. And that's a pure example of micro gifts. And I'm sure there's other people that I've used it with as well. I have colleagues that I've shared this with, and they use it in their businesses as well. Collateral is an important thing to think about when it comes to micro gifts. Like, I can't extend you $1,000 for worth of micro gifts of credit without collateral, and we all learn that pretty fast. But if you're wise to collateral and you understand how it all works, the micro gift's a great system, and it's a way to continue to build alternative structures of exchange and growth and potential and everything. So love that. I also dipped a little bit because I had a pretty mature audience with me, like verified red pill, spiritual beings. Except for the new guy, but he was talking cool enough. I was like, I can qualify you in the red pill. I shared a little bit about what I believe the future is going to do to us, for us. And that includes the pole shift theory. And if you want to know about that, we can talk about that privately, because I don't want to share it with everybody, because some people aren't ready to hear all that. But it's about being prepared for what's happening and understand and surrender to the universal intelligence that's all around us, and knowing how to make friends and how to build community. Very important. My number one investment since 2017, and I've built a little bit of an empire since then, is people. 100%. Because doesn't matter how rich you are, no one wants to be alone. You might think you want to be alone, you don't want to be alone. I promise you that. Maybe you just didn't find your tribe yet. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. Amazing conversations. Can't wait to do it again. Currently, we're on pace to have our friend Darren talk about channeling in October. I'm really excited to see that. I hope we can get a lot of community support and get out there and have a great talk. And I'll talk to Darren and see how much I can promote it, because I'd love to really fill the house. I think I'm going to put the flux capacity a little bit past the real capacity. And, if too many people show up, I'll be like, all right, I guess I'll have to step out here, because it's more about the community than me. It's more about the consciousness and the growth than me as an individual. So lots of amazing stuff happening. Lots of beautiful worlds. Thank you for tuning into this little bit of a recap of the LIghtBearers Loving Society, September 16th. I will chat again with you at your leisure. I hope you are blessed, feeling loved, and staying hydrated. Thank you so much. Bye from the river.